Look, guys, I talked about this on stream, and I freaking hate recording myself so much. I love streaming, but recording myself is hard. So this is gonna be the first video, and I'm gonna try my best to not re-record this over and over and over and over and over again. So let's do this. It's me, it's HolyHit, and I'm bringing you this beautiful Blink-DT build that I've been doing and beating mostly every Terran with. It's amazing, and I want to bring this beautiful build to you guys. I've prepared a replay for you to go through so I can explain this build to you. And what we're gonna talk about today is really just the opening and the build order. Nothing special, nothing outside of that. A few reactions to some things, but Blink-DT, since it's the 2-base all-in, is pretty straightforward in what you want to do. So this video will be divided into the opening portion of the game, which is going to be a 1-gate fast expand with the Cybercore First to deny the CC. Then we're going to be talking about the build order, and then we're going to have some benchmarks for you guys to follow. And then maybe in midst of watching this replay, I'm gonna be able to talk to you about some reactions you want to have in case the Terran does something that you want to deal with before the Blink-DT drop hits. But most of the time, that shouldn't be a problem. So as I mentioned, we're going to be starting with the opening portion of the game first. Makes sense, right? And we will be going for 1-gate fast expand with the Cybercore First. There are two main reasons. I would almost always advise you guys to go with Cybercore First versus Terran. That is one, Cybercore First. It's just much safer and much easier to deal with Reapers if you don't want to be aggressive. But number two, you can easily be aggressive with the Cybercore First. And in the case of Blink-DT, the more delayed the second CC is going to be, the more delayed the scan energy is going to be. And a lot of times, if you delay the CC enough, you're going to be ahead, no matter what. And if you're ahead with this build, you're going to be winning easily, I'm telling you. So basically, as I mentioned, 1-gate fast expand. You should know your openings at this point to do any builder. You should know your openings. In this case, it's going to be a 16 gateway, 14 Pylon, of course, 16 gateway, 17 gas, and then we go for 20 Cybercore, 20 Cybercore, 20 Nexus, and then we're going to be going for 21 Pylon. The important thing is that you want to start blocking the Terran expansion, and at any point in any game, you want to start blocking the Terran expansion at like 138/140, because the thing is, that is the earliest the Terran is going to be able to drop their CC down. If you manage to block the CC until, let's say, 150 with your probe, that kind of means you have won the game if you execute the build order correctly. Because if it's at like 150, what you're gonna be doing then, and what you're gonna be doing anyways, but what you will be successfully doing, is you will be able to get the adept out in time with the chrono boost. By the way, gas at 22, Pylon at 21, so you get the adept out early enough. And then you're going to be building the adept, you're going to be chronoing the adept, and very important, keep your second chrono available for the stalker, because the thing is, when you send over your adept, the Reaper might become a problem for you. So if you chrono boost the second stalker, it is much easier to defend the Reaper while having the adept being sent over the map. And then you try and kill the SCV naturally that is building the CC. And if you delayed the opponent's CC to like 150, maybe like even 147 can work depending on the map, you're going to be having a great time, honestly. So with delaying the CC, you want to get back to the build order. That was the opening portion. For the build order, we'll be going for Twilight at 238 and a Robo at 255. I prefer going by timings with my build orders than with supply, because then you have a really good benchmark if whether or not you're behind, no matter the pro production, basically. Like, there's a good chance, especially if you're in the lower leagues, that you're gonna not be the most consistent player with the pro production. But as long as the benchmarks hit, it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. And then you already know like whether or not you're going to be behind and whether or not it's still worth going for the build, basically. Of course, you get the warp gate after that as well. I forgot to mention that in the opening portion. And basically the timing is going to be, as I mentioned, 237 Twilight, 255 Robo, chrono boost on the probes. And then it's basically like you get them as soon as you get them. And I'm noticing these are the timings I usually get. But you get them when you can get them, basically. And then you go for the 315 2 gateways because, well, we have 300 minerals available to us. We block the CC. If the adept dies, it's not important. It kind of sucks, but don't be too hard on yourself, okay? Don't be too hard on yourself. It's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. And then basically, as soon as the Twilight is done, we get the DT Shrine, of course. As soon as the Robo is done, we're going to be getting a Warpism. And then 350, we get the 2 gases, because at 350, we're going to have the minerals. Because right now, also, 340 Pylon. You don't want the 46 Pylon to be blocking you, because this always happens to me. This is one Pylon you don't want to miss. It's also probably going to be the last time I mention a specific Pylon. And then you get the Warpism again, and then 350 you get the 2 gases, and you're basically good to go from there. What you're doing here is then going for a 2 DT drop to arrest the Terran. And I'm telling you, most games, you're gonna be winning with that 2 DT drop already. That is most of the time already enough, and most Terrans are already going to tilt out of the game. If you want, you can go for like 2 or 3 Stalker Warpin. That basically means that your extra gateways later on for the Allin are going to be behind, but it also means you're going to be safer. I'm not doing it this replay, but you can experiment around with that if that fits into your macro level right now, or into your style, or if you just feel safer right now. I also don't scout a lot with this build order. The only thing I worry about is Hellions, because Hellions hit very early. Like if it's like a reactor Hellion, that is very scary. You should check for that with your scouting. But basically, the benchmark you want to hit is that at 440, at about, like I'm doing this at 436, but at around 440, you warp in 2 DTs, load 1 into your Warpism, the other one you walk into the natural, and an important thing, because I'm seeing a lot of lower league players try to micro a lot with their units. You just take this DT and you right click into the mineral line, and you take this Warpism and you drop it into the mineral line, and you go out. And if you don't feel comfortable with the macro yet, or with this build order in particular, you just send the DTs in and look away and build your gateways, because DTs are pretty good, and they're gonna disrupt your opponent a lot. You don't have to let yourself get disrupted, basically. So you can take this build order until now and go into a macro game from here. This is a DT drop that a lot of people do, but this is not what we're here for. We want to be fancy. So what we're gonna be doing now, at about 445, either a little bit before the DT Warpin or after, it doesn't really matter too much in my opinion. You get gateways. You get a lot of gateways. I'm talking let's say 8 gateways in total. So we go 4 gateways here, and then we can add a 5th one. There we go. And then also, what I forgot to mention, the moment DT, this is basically the crucial moment, or like the hardest moment in the build order. The moment the DT Shrine and the moment the Twilight finishes, you want to start charge, you want to start blink, you want to start blink for the DTs. But before that, you want to warp in the DTs. I think the DTs have priority. And then you add the gateways. And this is also why I mentioned you should just walk on the DTs and be happy with it, because you're already going to be busy enough with the DT Shrine, with the macro at home, basically. And then if you go for the Allin, you don't want to build too many probes. I've already built 2 probes too many in this build order. That happens. And what you want to do now is, while the blink and the charge is building, you want to kind of boost them once, not twice. I think that's a little bit too early. It depends on whether or not you took damage early on, because if you took damage early on, or you're behind on your build, that means you're gonna have less units, or you have to like focus, and you want to hit with like a crucial amount of units. If you only hit with 2 DTs but very early on with blink, that's not going to be it. That's not going to do anything, because you need that crucial amount of DTs that we're going to talk about later to just overwhelm the Terran opponent, because blink DTs are really good, guys. I'm telling you, okay? But if you're watching this video, you probably already know that. So basically, you do some harassment if you want. Like, letting the DT survive is kind of crucial, but also not that much if they do a lot of damage. If you're like Grandmaster, you wanna let those DTs survive. If you're like Diamond, just let them do the damage. It's fine. It's fine. I'm telling you. And then what you do is you add Pylons when you need to, and you warp in charge slots, you warp in DTs whenever you can, and as much as you can. And we'll be hitting our final benchmark soon for this build order, for this specific replay, which is at 6:05 because that is when Blink and Charge finishes. So we'll be going forward. At 6:05, you will be hitting with the Warpin on the front. You want to be hitting with, let's see. You'll be hitting with 7 Zealots and 10 DTs. Plus minus 1 and 2 Zealots DTs. Basically what you want to do is anytime you have the gas for it, you want to warp in DTs. Anytime you don't have gas but minerals, you warp in Zealots. And then the micro, which is basically the final portion of the tutorial, the micro is going to be you move in, you control click your DTs, and you blink them behind the Terran ball, and you have won the game. That's it. You have won the game. If there are tanks, you blink on the tanks, but DTs are pretty good. Trust me. It's a really good build. And every Terran is gonna hate you. No one is gonna expect it because no one ever expects Blink DTs. And with this benchmark and with this build order, you should be able to go on ladder and have some fun. Things to keep in mind, of course, as I already mentioned, you want to be careful about Hellions, about Hellion vampires. You also want to be careful about Banshees. The thing about the DT drop is, one thing you might want to keep in mind if you're confident with the build order, is that the DT is also really good for scouting in a way, because you can find out what your opponent is doing. Of course, a Widowmine drop is going to hit about the time you hit with the DTs. That's also very crucial. A lot of Terran shit happens wide when you hit with the DT, so you want to keep that in mind, especially if you're playing on a higher level. So when you drop in the DTs, you don't lose your entire mineral line to a Widowmine drop, which happened to me actually yesterday, and that was sad. You don't want that to happen to you. If that happens, maybe you still have a chance of, like, depending on how much you lose. If you lose 1 mineral line, maybe. If you lose both mineral lines, you probably won't be able to build any DTs afterwards. But the crucial thing really is to go in with this. About 8 DTs, 8 Zealots is a good amount depending on how late you hit and what the Terran is doing. I think that's everything important, guys. Thank you all for watching. This has been my first YouTube video. I'm just recording this and basically probably gonna do little to no editing except for maybe some text in the screen, hopefully, if I'm not that lazy. Hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, so I stream every day, Mondays to Fridays, 4:30 p.m. CST. I think it's summertime now. I'm pretty sure it's summertime now. Feel free to join me there. I'm gonna link everything important down below. Blink-DT Terrans on the ladder. Don't feel bad about it. Have fun, enjoy yourselves. Peace.